Hi guys, welcome to the third episode of This Is Not News. My name's Jai, and today we've got Brok Neilsen on the show. Now, Brok is the owner and operator of Together Agency, which is an entertainment agency for clubs and venues around Brisbane and the Gold Coast. Now, he came on and we had a chat, and it was really great to hear from him. In this conversation, it really got me thinking about what we could really have next, what's coming, and how people will innovate in this new space and this new world that we're living in. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Let's just get this one straight underway. Hi, mate. Thanks for coming on and having a chat. We had a little bit of issues, technical issues. Everyone's trying to use the internet for video chat at the same time, by the sounds of it.
I think it'd be like, the other side of the world, America and stuff would be on right now. So
yeah, definitely.
Might be popular over there right now.
Yeah, I imagine it would be. So let's start with tell everyone who you are, what you do, and where you are at the moment.
So I live on the Gold Coast in Queensland in Australia. I run an entertainment agency, a DJ booking, live music and events agency here on the coast. We do a bit of Brisbane, so like southeast Queensland, I'd say would be our area.
Yep.
Primarily, we look after venues. So we just provide entertainment for venues until last week, basically, where every venue is now not allowed to play, not allowed to be open, basically. So all the entertainment got cut in pretty much most venues in Australia, which was I got the inkling probably about a week and a half, no, probably longer than that, about 2 weeks ago. And I just sort of messaged all our talent and said, look, I feel something's about to happen and it's not going to be good because they'll basically look to, the venue's always going to be a place where something like a virus will spread because it's, then they're thought of as dirty places, but really it's just because there's recycled air conditioning, you're in a dark place, everyone's touching everyone, you're on top of each other. So
that's it.
Of course, our industry was the first to go and so basically I've just shut the doors and in line with everyone else for the moment, but just trying to keep the brand alive and going through this next part.
Yeah, man. It's definitely for the entertainment industry. It's super tough at the moment, and I definitely feel for for you because and your business that you've built because you guys were doing so well, smashing it, seeing stuff everywhere, and then through no fault of your own, obviously, here we are. So definitely really.
It's crazy to think, literally in the space of 7 days.
Yeah.
Like we went from, we had probably two or three of the biggest bookings we'd done not as I'd done personally, but as far as the agency had gone, ready to go. Like we were working with a couple of venues on some bigger things.
Yep.
And that was right there, like Easter and then the Labor Day long weekend were just like, yep, let's go. And then within that 1 week, 2 week period, everything's cancelled. So
yeah, man. I saw recently that you've just put out the 5 things you can do now. Now if you're a DJ or whatever under the Together brand. I had a quick little read of that. I didn't want to read too much into it because I wanted you to maybe elaborate on it, or I suppose you've probably spoken about it pretty heavily in there. But tell us about that and what's in there for people.
So for me, I promised myself at the start of the year I'd write a lot more. I love creative writing and writing sort of to be informative. So I promised myself I'd start a blog and write a lot more this year.
Yep.
It took me probably like a month to pull my finger out, but I've written about 5 or 6 different articles now, and I was literally trying to figure out something that would get, because I just noticed as soon as all the jobs dried up, everyone just started getting at each other. And, a lot of stuff happened in that first week where venues, not knowing what they were going to do, had to basically cut salaries in half, or wages in half, hourly rates in half. And people were trying to get angry at the venues and stuff. And I'm like, look, you're not understanding, what's in it for them as well. Like what, the costs that are involved for a venue. And you're sitting there going, oh, they're dropping $30 off my hourly rate. Like they might not be able to be open. So I was like, okay, I need to get everyone's attention onto something else. So I thought I'd write this up and just sort of bring focus, you know, because it's going to be straight away. I think we all knew deep down that it's going to be a long wait. Without the industry, and I figured, you know, it's better to get everyone focused on their careers more so than worried about where the next paycheck's going to come from, because you know, music's such a connector, and I know for you being a producer as well, like it's such a connector for all of us. Like we love what we do and we love playing music, and to take a passion away from someone isn't something that we all take lightly. So I just wanted to sort of refocus everyone, and I just wrote, you know, just came up with 4 or 5 things that I felt like would sort of shift that focus.
Yeah, that's it, man. Because and that's the thing, like the industry, it is so close knit. You know, everyone sort of knows of each other, if not, you know, knows each other quite intimately. So when this kind of stuff happens, you know, it's just everyone's got to really look after each other, you know. So I think it's important for people like yourself to, you know, I suppose you may not think of yourself as a figure or a father figure or anything like that, but I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who do look up to you in that respect. You know, and maybe look to you for a bit of guidance in these times and stuff. So I think that's really good that, you know, like you said, you've sort of, you know, you've had to shut the doors on basically your whole business. But, you know, the fact that you're still there supporting other people in the industry, I think that's a big credit to yourself, mate. So,
thank you, buddy. And that's the thing is like with the agency, it's like for us, you know, we've got 100+ talent out there. You know, so it's not just about us shutting the doors. It's like, you know, people that haven't had as much time in the industry as I have, and sort of have, you know, might have just started, might be 19, 20, and have just done their first year with us, that are going to be like shocked and sort of lost. And it's those people that I worry about the most. So, and knowing that, I'm like, I know how to take care of myself. So it's more about putting these things out there. And I've actually did something that I'll share tomorrow as well. I just did up a small document that basically just breaks down what the government's offering. Like, so for as a DJ, you're a sole trader. Basically, you're listed as a sole trader. In the government's eyes. And I just wrote up a full, you know, 7 or 8 page document on like what you can claim, what you should be doing in this time, you know, and how you can claim those things through the government. Just sort of give everyone a bit more guidance instead of, you know, it's a bit, I find, and I'm sure everyone else finds that it's like the government website's a bit hard to navigate sometimes for information on what, you know, the amount of stuff I saw people fighting over, which was like incorrect information. Like they just sort of half read something and then they're like, oh, I can't believe this is happening. It's like, no, you pay money, dude. Like you just haven't read it properly.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And that's it. Like it's, you know, not everyone is, you know, capable of sitting down and reading documents and figuring all that out. I was just speaking to someone today and they said, oh, you know, my partner's an accountant. I think we should be all right. And I said, oh, I reckon you'll be sweet. Like, you know, as an accountant, I'm sure there's going to be so many people that are, you know, will look to accountants for their business to say, how can we implement, you know, what's all these tax credits and all this business, you know, which doesn't really apply to sole traders, but, you know,
it's pretty much the first thing that I'd say most club owners I know went and did last week. And then like after the announcements on Sunday, did first thing Monday. And you know, it's the first thing I did Sunday night. I looked out for an accountant and got some advice as well. And then, you know, I find most of my stuff, like ABC News is always a really good place they dumb stuff down. So you can really, and it's not even dumbing down. They just make it like easy information to digest. Like it's like, hey, this is what we think and this is what you can get. And I find that, you know, if anyone's ever looking for stuff on what's happening in the world, it's always ABC News is always a good place to to get it there and have it digestible.
Yeah, that's it. I was watching ABC News the other day in the morning, and it's great information, and they get like, you know, really knowledgeable people on, but mate, sometimes it's pretty dry, that some of the people, they're so smart and intelligent, but they're so boring to listen to.
I definitely don't watch ABC News. I just read their
you just read their stuff. Yeah, I remember I was watching it, I was like, man, this is so dry. Like obviously they're like super knowledgeable experts in their areas, but I was just like, oh man, this is tough to watch. So
I'm about to go to sleep.
yeah. There's this one bird. She must be in infectious diseases or something, and I keep seeing her on all these news shows and stuff, and she's just so dry.
Oh, she's like the one chick they keep on trotting out. Like, she knows everything.
Yeah. She's like the guru. She's the Don. But yeah, it's but that's it. Hey, it's about finding that information and figuring out what the next step is for you, what you can do. And I suppose, like, for a lot of people, not just in our industry, but what happens, if we go into a full lockdown, like like we're all in our houses and like, at the moment, the music industry has basically gone into a lockdown. But like, if everything was to go into a lockdown, what happens then, and what are people going to do then? Is there any advice maybe you've got for people? I suppose that's kind of in your what you wrote in the in that little blog post.
Look, the first thing I said, like, there's so many producers out there, and you'd know this yourself, like, how many files are you sitting on right now that are unfinished tracks?
Yeah.
It's the age-old question you can ask a producer. Like, I ran a group about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, which was just 10 to 12 producers that I was just trying to, like, get them moving in the right direction, because it was just, they all had that same issue of, like, never finishing anything, never wanting to put anything out. And I find it's just something that's riddled through the industry, is like so many producers just sitting on music, and it's like, you're sitting on it, no one hears it, no one, no one's there to judge it if you don't let anyone judge it. So you never know if you're any good. So that was sort of the first thing, was like, if you're not a producer, start producing, man. This is the perfect fucking time. Like, you've never made any music, you can literally go on YouTube and learn step by step how to make music. You've got the time. Like, you're going to get paid from the government for the next 6 months. May as well learn how, And then the next thing was like, from what I've seen of that first week, or the first 2 weeks, really, because America sort of dived first before us. With live streaming, and then the amount of bigger artists heading towards live streaming, and really, Diplo in particular is making a real crack at it, and he's doing like 4 or 5 shows a week at the moment with particular times. It just made me realize, because of how they're relaxing the laws now, so you can actually, in America, I don't know if they've done it with Australia, but I think they'll relax it, where you can deliver cocktails from it. So to keep the industries alive, they're letting bars deliver alcohol basically to your house. So I feel like after, because like we were just talking about Zoom having all the servers breaking down, it's because people are now accessing stuff, and what's going to happen is we'll get used to this. Like, whereas like I would normally come see you in your studio, where you're like, we can't do that now, so we're going to use Zoom. I find as people get more used to stuff, it becomes more normal. And I feel like the more we watch live streams of DJs, the more like virtual club style parties at your own house are going to happen, where it's like, hey man, Diplo's, Loud Luxury's playing 7 to 9, and then Diplo's got a set on from 9 to 11. Let's all go to fucking Freddie's house. We'll order cocktails from the bar around the corner, have them delivered, and then you're just with your mates, you're not going out. Because I feel, especially with the social, like the word social distancing, that's going to be the word for the year. And it's gonna get trained into us so heavily that we'll start distancing ourselves from people that aren't in our inner circle. It'll take us a bit, obviously we'll come back out of that, but I really feel like that's what's going to happen is, if you like right now, imagine if someone had the live stream show already. Like, so for the last 2 years, so for you, you're literally in a perfect, like, started your podcast, and you've been doing it so regularly that now you're an actual, you're seen as an authority. Like, you've started this other show, but it's true. You started this other show, and straight away people are watching because you've already shown yourself as an authority, as someone that's like in the industry talking to other people. And so you're in that prime position now because everyone's looking towards you. Whereas I feel like if, and I said this to some of our talent like 2-3 years ago, that this sort of like live streaming would become the way. And it's when, like imagine if someone like Diplo had that sort of, a show like Jimmy Fallon's show, but he just has a couple of DJs on, chats to them for 30 minutes, and then they play a set together. As if you're fucking not going to tune into that. Like, that that in itself is a night out. And I feel like, you know, with the training that we're going to go through over the next 6 months of being basically like locked indoors, I really feel like if you're not trying to find a path in live streaming as a DJ, you could actually be left behind. Like I'm not too sure how the clubbing industry, you know, everyone's sort of playing like, oh, the party when we all come back is going to be the best party ever. And sure, but like, I don't think the clubbing industry is ready for what's about to happen technologically, like, and to society at the same time.
Yeah, that's interesting because I hadn't really even thought about that, like the impact of every, like, you know, as a society, you know, like you're talking about how we're going to consume, you know, different forms of entertainment and stuff so differently now, that, you know, when we go back to maybe clubs won't pop off, you know, like maybe
it's all about training, you know, like we'll just get used to this, and then all of a sudden we'll like it, and then it's another competition for, you know, like obviously Diplo, and they'll all start go back to touring, but there'll be the middle DJs that'll be like, well, fucking, I have to get on a plane. I can just stay here and do this, and there'll be personalities, you know, like, you know, someone like Dylan Francis would be more of a personality that you'd go, I would watch his show.
Yeah.
Diplo maybe not. Like you watch him more for his DJing skills. Like that's a DJ's DJ.
Yeah.
But you know, like they'll be. I reckon you'll see the rise of the sort of TV show DJ.
Yeah. It's a different format, I suppose. Yeah. I'm really excited to see. I'd love to see DMC really take off now, because you know, like DMC is something that in a club setting,
it's perfect time right now.
Like in a club setting, it doesn't really make sense. Not everyone can see what's going on. Perfect live streaming. And I was just talking to Art Supplies earlier, and we were saying, like, you need to have something extra now. You can't. Everyone's just live streaming.
That's what I'm talking about. You need to innovate. You need to change the format of what's actually happening, and that's what's happened now. Is like live streaming before was something cool. So like we started No Request 2 years ago, and we're like, that's cool because no one's really doing it. But now No Request is like nothing because everyone's live streaming all of a sudden in the last 2 weeks. So now it's like, okay, well, what are you going to do to innovate and change that format to make it something different? Is going to be the question. And I know you saw that one with Eats Everything and Fatboy Slim. That was fucking epic.
Was awesome, man. One of my friends showed that.
Like that's perfect. Like I watched that when this is revolutionary. Like watching that, I was like, to show people that you could do that with equipment, and it's not, you know, like that they were only really using 4 or 5 cameras, and they're all GoPros. So it's only 3-4K worth of gear.
Yeah.
Like
easy.
An average person can have that.
Yeah.
Maybe not now, obviously.
Exactly. But such a cool concept, you know. I think it's that, like you said, innovating and sort of taking and just thinking outside the box, really. Like a live stream's just, like, you know, like we said, everyone can do it now. It's so easy to do from your phone, and it's been slowly building.
You can do some really dope setups now with the latest iPhone, like that just look like you're doing it on a computer.
Yeah, so good. I know that like Paul at Frequencies, he just had started incorporating like a phone with a gimbal. So he was part of the live stream. He's obviously got the setup cameras everywhere, but he actually had his phone, and he could wirelessly go to that phone to be streaming and actually do it like a cameraman and move around the room. And it just gave a whole nother dimension to the whole live stream experience. Just to have that bit of movement.
Have you watched Circle, like on YouTube before, like the brand Circle?
Is that the one where they do it like castles and mountains and stuff?
Oh.
So good.
They're using like $1 million worth of gear just to do this production.
Yeah, totally. and there's like what, like, you know, 50 to 100 people there max.
Yeah,
and it's just live streamed free. You know, like, and just the most amazing locations.
If someone watching this knows the guys from Circle, please put me in contact. I've been trying to figure out how the hell they pay for everything. I got no idea.
Yeah, because there must be huge. But you know, you say, there must be huge sponsorships, but you don't really see any branding.
It could just be guys with money, dude. Like, honestly.
Yeah, we're just gonna do something sick, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Making their money.
But I think it's important to, for people to, use this time wisely, don't be left behind, like you're saying, come out the other end of this. Like you said, if you're going to be able to get money from the government to survive till this sort of blows over, use that time to your advantage. I know you often speak about, like, I suppose people, it's overused now, but the word, the grind, and, and the hustle and all that. And I know you're a big sort of advocate, yeah, of, like learning new stuff and always improving and growing.
It,
Any,
I think the biggest culture shock for everyone, and even myself, like as I just said, I'm a big Gary Vee fan, and one of his biggest mantras is like being prepared for a situation like this. And I really felt like I was.
Yeah.
Until this all happened, and it's like, I think the biggest thing for the whole industry is just like, wow, like how were we not prepared for this? How has our whole industry gone in the blink of an eye? And it just shows how fickle and how almost unnecessary our industry is. But it is necessary.
Yeah.
So it's so like heartstrings. It's so culture. It's so humans at their very essence. But at the same time, it's just seen as unnecessary by the upper society.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how people are going to innovate a way to like make sure they're never in this situation again.
Yeah.
And really get themselves going. But I think, yeah, like, man, it's going to be like basically preparation so that never happens to again. Making sure you get better at DJing, practice everything you can do, and then just creating as much as possible. If you spend this time wisely, like, the amount of songs. I've already seen some artists that have put out 2 or 3 tracks in this last 2 weeks.
Yep.
Like it's red hot right now, and it's like the perfect time. Like, there's no DJ can say they're working. You can collaborate with anyone. Everyone's available. Like, if you're on a live stream, you can access people. There's just unlimited access to everyone, and everyone has an unlimited amount of time. So really, this should be the time where the most music happens.
Yeah.
And then once this sort of scares over in the next 2-3 months, like, obviously, I reckon the ban will probably go for 6 months on venues. But I think as far as the virus goes, I think it's probably, 2-3 months of like, all of us trying to have to stay away from each other. And then the rise of underground house parties is just going to be like astronomical.
Yeah. And I feel like in recent times, the house parties have definitely gone away.
Yeah. Like imagine if you're the one building your brand on that shit the whole time. Like, you're just pumping, like, man, like this one would do, like, and you're just building your network and you're emailing DJs, and you constantly, like, if you're doing the work now, when you, like, there's so many DJs that I know that are still, like, young enough, still living at home, have no overheads, just basically travel and DJ and do whatever and fuck around. And $550 a week from the government is basically like more than they're probably getting before that.
Yeah.
And it's no offense to any DJs out there, but it's like I would say there are a percentage of DJs where that 550 is going to be bigger than what they were getting, and they're going to be able to live at home because they've got an excuse. They can't go anywhere. They can tell their parents they can't go outside to earn any money.
Yeah.
And they can use that money to buy sample packs, buy DJing programs, buy lessons. Man, the amount of DJs online right now that are selling lessons all of a sudden because they've got no other stream, no other income.
Production too.
And they're DJs that beyond their wildest dreams that they could have access to, and that's all there right now. So really, to say you didn't create anything and then it's next 3 to 6 months is you may as well quit DJing.
Yeah, that's it. I think it's really going to show the difference between people who are really in it for the long haul and the passion, and the people who were just maybe in it for the fame or the quick buck or to be that cool person at the club. I think this time is really going to tell, sort of separate those people. So, and I sort of, like I said to art suppliers, I said, like, in 30, 40 years time, when we're all old and grey, what are we going to tell everyone we were doing in the coronavirus times? You know, were you playing PS4, or were you binge watching Netflix, or were you working on that album, or working on your production, or setting, you know, innovating and stuff like that? Like, think about it like that, you know?
Yeah. For us, we're so lucky. Like, you got to think of an accountant. An accountant can't sharpen his tools for 6 months. You know, like there's so many jobs out there that if they get shut down, there's almost nothing for them to do. They're basically just sitting on their ass. I mean, they can take up hobbies and stuff like that and get better at the things, you know, that they're happy about. But like, to go and say, I can get better, I can get exponentially better in the next 6 months at my job. And the thing that I'm most passionate about is a gift. And I think a lot of people haven't really seen that part of it yet, and they're too busy concentrating on the negatives. You know, it's out of control. Like, that's it. The government's done it. Like, unless you want to go live in another country, which is impossible right now because no one's taking anyone. You're fucked. So you may as well just go, okay, it's all over. What's next?
And I think we didn't really realize how good we kind of had it, did we? You know,
that's no one did. And this is the biggest culture shock in our lifetime that'll happen. Like, everyone just went, whoa. Like, the amount of like, just the conversations I've had in the last week is just people just with their minds blown, like, with no idea. And you're like, and we're on the tip right now. We haven't even like this. The virus hasn't even done its damage yet, dude. Like, Australia's going to get fucked up. And like, people, so we're in this state of shock right now. And like, that's why I'm talking about this stuff with you, man. It's like, get everyone focused. I'm looking towards the positives, because worse stuff's going to happen. You know, as you said, like, we could enter full lockdown, and then, you know, like, people are going to be going mad in their houses.
Yeah, that's it. And I mean, you see it already. You see people doing, you know, all the online stuff. It's just huge, like fitness stuff. People are doing.
The world's getting revolutionized before your eyes, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's really, you know, we were sort of like saying, everyone's like, oh, 2020. It's not really, there's not really like anything real cool, or like, I thought it'd be way different to how it is. And then it's like a couple of months later, it's like, well, actually, here we are. It is so different to how we thought it was going to be. We always thought in the future we'd be, you know, talking over the internet and be isolated in our rooms. It's like, you know, it's like a Black Mirror episode almost.
It feels like the world made a decision for us to all grow up. It just when everyone needs to, like, you know, understand their shit a bit more, and just went, okay, here's some bushfires. Okay. It's like, January, we were praying for rain, dude. It's like raining down the door now, and we've got a virus that's, you know, a pandemic just circling the world at the moment. Like, it's, you know, to think of that in the space of the time that I was having in January, February to now, you can't even, like, fathom how quickly that just happened.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, isn't it? So,
like, we were just, you know, all the bushfire relief gigs. Literally
that's right.
Now we're like, turning around asking for money. We're like, fuck, come on. Give a bit back, guys.
But, you know, like, I'm sure we'll find ways to get through. Like, this industry does always. Well, in the past, I've seen it pull together when it needs to, and I think we'll see that again. I hope we see that again. And, you know, there's already some great things happening. Like, you see so many different software companies that do stuff, giving out free VSTs and plugins and apps and all that kind of stuff, which is awesome. And you see people giving out stems and you know, people having sample packs and you know, it's just, everyone is coming together. I think it's just about figuring out how we do it. How does that work? And we have to figure out this live stream thing too. Everyone was live streaming at the same time last Friday. I can only watch one live stream at a time. Like, if we all live stream, it's not going to work. Like, we've got to, I don't know how we figure out, like, a set list, or, you know.
That's
like,
the competition, though. That's what I was talking about. And that's what we're talking about right now, is like, that's what's going to happen. That's it now.
Yeah.
So it's like, what you're talking about is every nightclub out there when you go into the valley.
Yeah, exactly.
You're sitting on the corner of the street looking around going, which club am I going to go to? That's what's happening in the live streaming world right now, and that's what's gonna change it, is someone innovating and creating something that's not just DJing. It's a watchable show, and it's a real life experience more so than just a cool set.
Yeah. I'm actually getting mad ideas while we're sitting here talking about this. And I'm like, oh, do I say it? Do I say it? No, I'm going to keep a hold of that one, I think. But yeah, definitely. So have you got any plan? Obviously, with the agency, that's all on hold. There's literally nothing you can really do about that at the moment. But have you got any plans for things? Anything you're working on or any ideas? Don't give away any big secrets, but
yeah, no, I've got like nothing really I want to talk about just yet, but it's all like, number one, what we were just talking about, a concept for a live stream that's going to change. Like right now, I'm just going to start a stream that's going to be a regular time every week.
Yeah. Cool.
With our crew, and obviously not just together. I'm all about bringing, me, I'm all about bringing the industry together. So it won't just be about Together Agency, it'll be about everyone I know in the industry, and just offering slots every week at a particular time, and then off the back of that, trying to figure out something that'll change. Where we look at that, even bringing in new technology, like being able to donate live, just stuff that's not really available unless you're in a Pornhub experience. like more. We need more stuff like Patreon, but like cooler than Patreon, available for DJs and live artists and musicians and stuff like that. So thinking about that sort of thing, and then really just gonna spend the time more blogging, more just trying to share information with the industry and keep everyone on track. And like for me, man, it's with an agency, it's never shut down. Like if I want to come out firing on the other end, I basically have to keep 100 plus people entertained and interested in coming back to our agency once we go. Because like, let's just say we get, it all stops 6 months and we're back. All our clients are back. Everyone's stoked. I've still got to re-employ a bunch of people, and if they're not there ready to go for us, that's going to be so much more work for, we got to find more talent, fucking find people we trust. We did all that. We did that for the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
To do that all over again, like would be a headache. So for me, it's just about letting our talent know that I'm here for them and doing as much as possible for the industry and them in this period to keep the agency relevant and sort of just give back, man. Like I'm going to be fine. I got income insurance. I was smart. Having a baby, I was like, I think I better need that just in case, I break my leg or something, do something stupid. And I want to use this time, like I just said, is doing stuff that's going to help our industry and get past this and never see something like this again.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I really love that. Is there anything you've seen maybe outside the industry that you think's maybe like innovative so far, or anything you've loved or creative ideas? Doesn't have to be in our industry.
Yeah, you put me on the spot there. I can think of 2 or 3 things, but I can't get them out of my head.
Yeah,
sorry.
No, that's all right.
No, just mine's more like I'm constantly looking at marketing.
Yeah.
And I've been interested to see how many people have dropped the ball in the last 2 weeks around refocusing and reimagining their marketing. I saw something interesting today. Untitled Group did something funny where they did the 1.5 meter social distancing. They did like a line. So they've got a U with a full stop, and they did like 1.5 meter distance marker between the two, and like reposted that as a logo. Like little stuff like that is what I'm I'm a geek like that. That excited me. I was like, ooh, that's cool.
Like
how
relevant.
can I do something with my own logo? Yeah.
Relevant and that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I feel like people were still selling stuff 2 weeks ago, and it's like, man, no one wants to buy your shit. Like I don't think anyone realizes, influencers are done, in the format that they were in or they have been in.
Yeah.
No one's going to buy a miniskirt or a party dress when the world's coming to an end.
Yeah, that's it.
So for me, it's been looking at items that I feel like are going to be big over the next 6 months.
Yeah.
And watching the marketing around that. That's sort of that's the thing I do for fun. And and collect NBA cards as well.
Yeah. Is that
so I've been watching the prices of NBA cards go up and down at the moment.
Yeah. Is that something you picked up from Gary Vee, or is it something you've always been into? Or what?
I've always been into NBA and cards, but Gary actually, just like reminded me that I was into it, and I just was like, okay, it's because, man, I like Molly will tell you, like, I live and breathe my business. So sometimes I need to not think about it for 5 minutes, just so I can remember there's something else in the world. Like, I'm constantly, as I said, looking at other, like, marketing around the world, other businesses, venues. It's probably good for me that there won't be any open for a while. So I've got nothing to look at. But it's crazy to think, man, no sport at all. Like, there's going to be nothing.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, like, like
Netflix and fucking Hulu and Amazon must be like licking their lips.
Yeah, true. I wonder what's going to pop up. I saw something recently just on the news that
just what you just said there, like thinking about that, something's going to come. Someone will fill that gap. But sorry, go ahead.
I just saw on the news something about it's like not NASCAR, but some kind of car racing, and they've got simulators. And so these guys are going to rate, like, professional drivers racing in simulators. And I was just like, man, that's pretty cool. Like, I'd probably watch that. Like, I don't watch car racing, but I'd probably flick that on for a little bit and have a look. Like, cool ideas like that.
I went down there's like this collectibles YouTube. They do this sick. I don't know whether you ever seen it. Did the rounds probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, where they do matchbox racing. They set up like a track that goes downhill and they race around, but they've got commentators for it as well. And I'm like, fuck, man, that's so ingenious to, like, build a brand around. Like, they had, like, a couple of them had like 2 or 3 million views on the thing. I was just looking at that and just going, this might be our life. Like, we might be looking at stuff like this and betting on it. Like the casino's shut. Like, I can't even go play blackjack at the moment.
The
world's gone crazy.
It's hectic. Yeah, I suppose that is kind of, in a way, that's kind of exciting to try and imagine and think what's going to come. Because, like you said, something's going to fill that space. People are going to need things to watch and do. So I think that's probably something people out there can be trying to do as well. Come up with that next big idea, because anyone could come up with it now.
Well, think about, like, sorry, this is getting way off tangent now, but think about that, like what we're just talking about. Sports bet basically shut down as a business. Like, there's no current, like, what are they betting? I'm going to go on the app later on and check out what the fuck's on there at the moment, because
there'll be something they're betting on. It's got to be something. There's always something. They always have crazy stuff on there. It'll be like, I don't know. I can't even think of what they'll have on there.
What's the next thing that ScoMo comes up with for the stimulus package?
Who's he going to go off at next at the next
Andrew,
press conference?
Tony.
No, that was classic. I laughed so hard at that. And then someone, like, literally like a minute later on Facebook, there's a photo with that caption already, and I was like, they're not even finished, like, speaking, and someone was bang, it was there. I was like, they must have had the photo ready and being just, like, ready to type, like, whatever quote came up. Like, it was so quick. I was like, damn, that's impressive. Like, so it is. It's going to be pretty interesting. But I think I don't want to say it's exciting, because, there's so many people out there that are hurting at the moment. And
it's tough to talk, like, I try to keep humor up a lot. Like, that's definitely my defense. I go, man, it's been a tough time. I've got a kid, I've got a partner that's lost, she just lost, probably 10K worth of gigs, and then I've lost, like, my whole business is shut down. We're definitely had a rough time. And, just being unsure about what's next. But, it's like I was just saying before, you just stay focused, man. Like, there's nothing I can do about those things. But what can I do? I can get better. I can stay focused. I can help people. I can bring a bit of light into fucking people's lives. For you right now, it's like bringing more information to people. Before we go to, I was going to remember we were talking about the real estate as well. Did you end up talking to a real estate agent?
I did manage to speak to one. They said to me that nothing's come through officially, Because if you want to maybe tell people what you sort of
so we had the experience with our real estate. We if you go to QCAT, so like this is for people that can't pay the rent. Like let's just say $550. You're in a 550 a week unit. You're a single person. You just had 2K worth of gigs disappear every week. You can actually apply for financial hardship through QCAT, and the RTA will support it. So you can get out of your lease if you can show proof that you've lost all your work, which is not hard to do, DJ.
I think I asked a few people who are in that industry, but I have a feeling they didn't want to come on here and say that because their company or whatever may not really like them, sort of saying that. Although I have just sort of contacted someone who, to be honest, I don't know a lot about him, but he was recommended from somewhere else, from another group, about being heavily into real estate and rent and all that kind of stuff. And he was interested to maybe connect and do something. He's got like 1 million followers on Twitter and that, so I don't know. He must know his stuff. But yeah, I'll do my research and figure it out. But he seemed open to the idea at least. So
sick. Well, that's what it's like for us. That's all it was about. It's the biggest thing everyone can do right now is like get rid of all your overheads. Like just get rid of shit that subscriptions and stuff that you weren't using, that you didn't need, that you were just paying for. And like for us, we just went, well, if we can get away with 6 months rent free, just live with my dad's for 6 months.
Yeah.
What's the harm? It means that I'll get $400 a week back that I can then, once this is all over and we can travel again, I can go on a holiday straight away. Or I can invest back in my business, or do something wild with, throw a massive party when we kick this all back off, So it's right now it's about coming out the other side 10 times stronger than you started it, and I think finding any way to reduce your overheads right now is gonna and then give you that more money to create, really.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people are probably doing that at the moment, and a lot of people going to Centrelink, as we saw today. Heaps of people there, but apparently they've opened up some kind of online system now that will allow you to do that. So that's promising for everyone out there. Doesn't have to go in. But I think let's get it a bit lighter at the moment. Let's lighten it up a little bit. Let's go to some questions that I've got sorted here, and I might start with one that you've tagged me in some stuff today, because I am single going into this Corona lockdown, and just looking for first date ideas for in this new Corona world we live in. I suppose it depends on what happens from here, but at this stage,
you can't even take him to the movies. Like you can't even take anyone. The cinemas are shut down. Everything. We were having a laugh before online about picking up, because you've got a government job, you can pick girls up in the Centrelink line.
That's it.
It's definitely, man, for you. That's a big play. Like I've got a job that I can't lose, babe. What's going on? Like, you want to come around? I'll pay your rent.
Yeah, that's it. Come stay with me. Because it's going to be hard in like lockdown, if it goes into full lockdown, because heaps of people are like, oh, you can both take your own picnic blanket to the park and like sit on your own blanket 2 meters apart and stuff like that. I'm like, or I think I've seen. I think
one of those, the cup on a string.
Yeah,
there you go.
Cup on a string. Babe. That one will work. Cup on a string. So that's. I'm sure there's going to be some creative ways that people are going to go on dates when this thing happens, or figure out ways to do exciting and fun things. Playing video games together is probably something heaps of people can do.
I'm already considering. I've seen a couple of DJs and stuff. Like this is one of the ideas that I was thinking about, was starting a channel that's just like. Let's just say I have a DJ play a set, and then we go play a couple of rounds of Warzone or something like that. Together. Like, so you're sort of mixing the two, because I feel like so many DJs are gamers. Like, and especially bigger DJs as well. Like, I feel like the things, because it's just so nighttime related and like up late related, like gaming and DJing. Like, I just feel like such a perfect marriage. from what I've seen.
No one steal that one. That's Brok's one.
Maybe you can all steal it. It's fun.
Yeah. So next question: are you in this toilet paper world that we're living in, of toilet paper shortages? Are you a scruncher or a folder?
Oh man, I'm a waste of sure. I'm a scruncher.
Yeah, scrunch.
I sometimes check myself, and I'm like, ooh, man.
You got to check yourself sometimes.
Yeah, I need to protect these pieces of toilet roll, but
yeah.
scruncher.
Yeah, scruncher for sure.
Back.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So then that brings us on to the next part, which is what's in your bunker. So what do you have in large supply at the moment at your place? Anything that you've got? Pasta? Yeah,
my partner has to keep, she has something that stops her from keeping weight on easily. Yeah. So we actually needed a bunch of pasta, but luckily we didn't actually go buy it. She posted on her social media, and a bunch of people like gifted it to us.
Oh, sweet!
So thank you, everyone. That was so lovely. So we've got like 10 bags of pasta. So if anyone needs a bag of pasta, I'm more than happy to hook you up.
Yeah, got that pasta hookup.
Baby formula. I bought as soon as I saw it all going to shit. I bought a bunch of baby formula.
Well, I mean, you got a kid. You got to look after. You got
to
think about that. That's the one
thing I was like, I won't hoard, but that's the one thing I'll definitely. Anyone comes near my kid, man, I'll fucking fuck you up.
Yeah, that's it. And then so the next one is, what do you have like in supply that you're short on, or that you think you're going to run out of, or you couldn't get, or something like that? Anything there?
We baby Panadol.
Yeah,
it's gone, man. Like it's every single shop. We had to get. We were lucky enough. Same thing. Like Molly posted, and someone randomly found it out in fucking Whoop Whoop, and dropped it in.
That's awesome. And so the last,
it's like one of those things. Like babies, you don't realize how important it is.
Yeah.
But like Bambi teething, they just need it because they just go crazy otherwise.
Yeah.
And we don't sleep, and then we're fucked.
Yeah. So when this is all over, whenever that may be, what's something that what are you going to do first? What's something that you're gonna want to go out and do? You reckon? You said maybe a holiday, but is there anything else?
Oh man, I just feel like like Wet and Wild.
Wet and Wild, yeah. Yeah.
Just like people, man. Like I'm both an introvert and an extrovert. Like I love the fact that we're about to go into lockdown and I can be at home because I'm very creative on my own. But I also, I mean, you've seen me out. I love people. I love being around people. I love like feeding off other people's energies. And like, giving my energy out. So I think that, and then, just a big night out with my friends, like start off with a dinner or something like that, where you can sort of, man, I'm such an interactive person, like not being able to handshake or like hug.
Yeah.
Like I'm a massive hugger, and I hate just giving someone a massive hug is going to be great.
Yeah. It'll be awesome, man. But it might feel weird by that stage. I suppose it depends how long. But that's
social norms, dude. This is what I'm talking about. Like we could start getting simple stuff could start to seem like weird for us, which I hope not. Hugging, bring back hugging, 2021.
2021. And the last question I've got, if you've got any, like if you could recommend a book or a game or a movie or a TV show, something, because we're going to have times where maybe you can't do that grind and keep working on stuff 24/7. You're going to need some stuff. So what do you got there?
I listen, so I'm a massive Audible.
Oh, yep.
I was never into it, but then I started listening to Gary. Like, so I went through a real rough patch, and then I started listening to his podcast, and it just got my mindset right. And everyone either hates him or loves him, but I'm a big fan. But so that sort of turned me on to like the fact that audio stuff's out there. So I'm massively into Audible. It's like $11 a month, and you get a new book every single month, which is way cheaper than books. Yeah. So, but I recently listened to a book by Pat Flynn called Superfans. Which
sounds interesting.
All you DJs out there, listen to this book, or read this book. It's like that, and Known by Mark Schaefer. They're two guys I absolutely respect, Pat Flynn and Mark Schaefer, on marketing and just building a brand. People forget that DJing being an artist is a brand, and you can actually build your brand and not be an artist and still become an artist, without the music. So people forget that marrying the two can fast track your career. And Super Fans by Pat Flynn, man, that's it just reminded me how easy it is if you do the work. It can be for people. So
yeah, cool. That sounds really good, because I've always heard about stuff about super fans, and so many people talk about it. So that definitely sounds interesting to me. That sounds like something I'd be definitely keen to check out. So I'm gonna have a look at that one or listen, because I love audiobooks too. Like I'm way more of an audiobook person, podcasts and audiobooks. As
you
opposed to reading. What's that?
Yeah, you go to the gym, like you exercise?
Yeah. I don't have no gym membership at the moment, but
that's why I walk in the morning. So that's what I do every morning, is I listen to a book and walk.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, nice. Well, anything else you want to talk about, or you've got? There's not much. We're just excited to see what comes next, I suppose. I don't know if excited is the right word, but
holding your breath, I think.
Yeah, waiting to see what happens next. So thanks for the chat, man. It hopefully I'll get to talk to you a bit more over this this time, whether it's on this show or if it's just in general. I'm hoping that these sort of conversations online like this, like you said, it might become the new norm. We might all just be doing this. I
think you definitely way more like live chatting systems where people can sort of interject, and more shows where it's 2 or 3 people chatting, round table stuff with people in the room. I think it's going to definitely pop up over the next 6 months.
Yeah. Well, with this, you can have about 50 people on at once. It goes mental, and you put it in a gallery view, and it has it's like all these little tiny windows of people. I've seen photos of it, and it's just like,
because they don't chat; they're just people listening to like a meeting or something.
Well,
like that,
you can. I think you can, but I don't know quite how well. I think you can, if you're the host, you can like mute and unmute people. Like I think you've got the ability to mute people and unmute people. And I was playing around with art supplies after, and you can share screens and stuff. So he showed me an Ableton project of his on the screen. And
that's interesting. I would love to watch someone being taught. So I'm never going to be a producer, but I would actually watch someone learning and being taught and like experimenting. Like that would interest me.
Yeah. And the even cooler thing was that I could actually request to control his screen, and I could move his mouse and actually do stuff on the screen. Like I was like,
oh, so you can go, oh, I want to look at that thing, and he's like, oh, what? And you go, oh, here, give me the controller.
Basically, cool. So crazy. And that's what's here now. So it's gonna be crazy what comes next. So
well, what has been here for a while.
Probably, and we just didn't even know. But so all right, man. Well, thanks for coming on, and hopefully I'll be looking out for any more of your posts, or if you do come up with some kind of concept show or something, I'll be definitely keen to check it out. Cool. I'll make sure give it a share once it comes out as well. So thanks for coming on, man, and stay safe, eh?
Yeah, I will. Wash your hands.
Yeah. Oh, mate, I'm at a school. I'm washing my hands so much.
I giggle so much when I see that, when like people say wash your hands. I'm like, man,
yeah.
Like, that's not just it. Like you need to like wash your hands and then not touch stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
It should be don't touch anything.
Yeah, that's it, man. All right, stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon.
Cheers, brother. Bye.
There we go, guys. That was a great chat with Brok. I really loved his perspective on things and sort of looking to the future at what's next and how people are going to innovate in this space. Really love everything about that. Make sure you go check out some of those articles that he talked about. If you look for the Together Agency page on Facebook, you'll be able to find it there, and I'll have some links in the show notes for you as well. Make sure you guys subscribe, like, and share this episode. If you want to get involved and maybe be on the show, make sure you get in touch. All right, guys, that's it for this one. I hope you're having a great day or night, wherever you are, and I'll see you guys soon for the next episode.